The investment bank filed for bankruptcy this morning, a shocking ending to a weekend of frantic negotiations which failed to save the company from collapse.
Lehman Brothers is going bankrupt.
Down 1.7% here, a loss of 37 points or so.
We're down by between 3. We're watching this market. We're red everywhere, essentially. Down by 4, 5,
51%.
Everything, and it was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
Ever since the beginning of time, entrepreneurs, innovators, revolutionaries, they embrace the limelight. They want to be known. But then, how can the creator of one of the best technology ever known to mankind remain anonymous over a decade on? Who is Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, the revolutionary digital currency that's taken the world by storm? It's a question that's puzzled and fascinated the world for over a decade. Today we're going to explore 5 shocking theories for the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. But before we dive into these, let me ask you, have you ever thought about the fact that Satoshi Nakamoto could be anyone or anything? A group of people, a government agency, a tech giant, an anonymous hacker, or even an alien civilization? The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes this mystery so intriguing. So let's dive in. The first theory we'll explore, which is one of the most common explanations, is that Satoshi Nakamoto is actually a group of cryptographers, not a lone wolf. When Bitcoin was first introduced in the infamous 2008 white paper, it was clear that the creator or creators had a clear, exceptional understanding of cryptography. It's unlikely that one individual could have written such a comprehensive document on their own. In fact, some experts have suggested that the technical aspects of Bitcoin suggest it must have been the result of a collective effort. This group of cryptographers could have come together for a common purpose. Perhaps they wanted to create a digital currency which couldn't be controlled by governments or traditional financial institutions. Or maybe they simply wanted to test the viability of this newly found blockchain technology. But the burning question is, why would they want to remain anonymous? Well, we need to understand. Creating a decentralized digital currency would have been seen as a threat by the existing financial system.
The Biden administration, the Democratic Party, really doesn't like crypto.
The EU and governments hate cryptocurrencies.
And when the real founder of Bitcoin comes out, Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
And it's possible that governments or other entities could have tried to shut down their work. By remaining anonymous, this group could have avoided being shut down or targeted, and could have continued their work on Bitcoin without fear of retribution. Perhaps the creators understood that Bitcoin as a technology was most vulnerable in its infancy, and remaining anonymous could actually buy them some time. So while we may never know for sure, it's entirely possible that Satoshi Nakamoto is not just one individual, but indeed a group of highly skilled, coordinated cryptographers working together to change the world. What if the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, was not an individual or a group of individuals? What if instead it was a government agency? That's right. The theory suggests that a government agency such as the CIA or NSA could have created Bitcoin to destabilize the existing financial system. Perhaps it's not as crazy as it sounds. Bitcoin's rise to popularity has caused a lot of concern among governments and central banks around the world. In fact, some governments and countries have completely banned the use of cryptocurrencies entirely. So it's not unreasonable to think that a government agency could have created Bitcoin to to undermine the traditional financial system and assert their dominance in the global economy. Also, the fact that Bitcoin's creator Satoshi Nakamoto then decides to remain anonymous only adds to the suspicion. It's not uncommon for governments to use pseudonyms or aliases when working on classified projects, so it's entirely possible that Satoshi Nakamoto is a cover identity used by a government agency. Keep in mind that Bitcoin was created in 2008 in the midst of the global financial crisis.
Completely wiped out.
Weekend of frantic negotiations which failed to save the company from collapse.
Perhaps this is the time when global elites came to a realization that their existing financial systems were not fit for purpose and at risk. Thus, they frantically began working on a successor before somebody else did. Of course, this theory is just speculation, but the possible benefit to a government that created Bitcoin are certainly undeniable. By creating a decentralized currency that operates outside the traditional financial system, they would have a tool to reduce their reliance on the US dollar, which could have significant geopolitical implications. So what do you think? Could Bitcoin and Satoshi Nakamoto be the work of a government agency? It's certainly a fascinating possibility. Tech giants, the likes of Google, Apple, Microsoft, they have the resource, expertise, and motivation to create Bitcoin. What if they are Satoshi Nakamoto? These companies have a significant interest in the financial industry and would benefit greatly from creating a decentralized currency system just like Bitcoin. As more people adopt Bitcoin, traditional financial institutions, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, could become obsolete. And tech giants would have a new opportunity to become the gatekeepers of the new financial industry. The fact that the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto remains a mystery could be explained by the fact that it's a collaboration between two huge tech giants who just want to remain anonymous. This theory is supported by the fact that Bitcoin code is incredibly complex, and it's unlikely that a single person could have created it alone. The creation of Bitcoin can also be seen as a way for tech giants to increase their power and influence over the world. By creating a currency that is not tied to any one government or central bank, they will be able to control a huge, significant part of global financial wealth. This will give them unprecedented power to shape global politics and economics. Finally, the theory that tech giants are behind Bitcoin is further supported by the fact that these companies have a history of creating and promoting new technologies that disrupt traditional industries. For example, Google disrupted the advertising industry, Apple disrupted the music industry, and Microsoft disrupted the personal computer industry. It's not a stretch to imagine that these companies would also want to disrupt the financial industry, one of the biggest industries, and move it away from existing players, such as banks. What if the most common theory was true? What if Satoshi Nakamoto was just this one person on a mission, a lone wolf? One possible motivation for an anonymous hacker to create Bitcoin could be a desire for social and political change. The existing financial system is centralized and controlled by governments and financial institutions, which can have a negative consequence for ordinary people. For example, central banks can manipulate the value of any given fiat currency through their monetary policy. This can lead to inflation or deflation. Banks can charge high fees of financial transactions, deny services to certain individuals or communities. This creates censorship. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is decentralized and operates on a peer-to-peer network, meaning that there is no central authority controlling the system. This gives individuals more control over their financial transactions and protects them from potential abuse by financial institutions or governments. An anonymous hacker who values privacy and freedom could have dreamt Bitcoin as a tool to promote these values. Furthermore, the fact that Satoshi Nakamoto has remained anonymous for so long suggests that this was intentional. An anonymous hacker who created Bitcoin would likely want to remain anonymous in order to avoid any negative consequences from governments or other entities who may view Bitcoin as a threat to the existing financial system. The theory of an anonymous hacker being Satoshi Nakamoto seems to align well with all the values of the community. The anonymity of the creator fits with the decentralized nature of the technology, and this is the most widely held belief. Oh man, here we go. The idea that an alien civilization could have created Bitcoin is definitely the most far-fetched possibility we're covering today, but it still is one which we need to consider. We have to consider the fact that technology beyond our current understanding could exist, and that it's not out of the realm of possibility that an advanced civilization could have developed Bitcoin as a way of testing the viability of a decentralized currency system on Earth. Bitcoin is a complex technology that requires a deep understanding of cryptography, economics, and computer science. The fact that Bitcoin operates on a global scale and is accessible to anybody with an internet connection is just further testament to the sophistication of this innovation. And so the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto remaining a mystery could be simply because it's an entity which is beyond the human comprehension. If an alien civilization did create Bitcoin, it's likely that they would want to remain anonymous, and the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto could simply be a way of hiding their true identity. Of course, we have to acknowledge that this theory is super unlikely, and there is, of course, no evidence to support it. But then again, why would aliens leave any evidence? The possibilities are endless, and the fact that we are still debating who is Satoshi Nakamoto is just further testament to the widespread nature of this technology and the impact it has had on this world. So there you have it, 5 different theories for the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. The reality is we could have come up with another 5 and another 5 after that. While we may never know the true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, analyzing the different possibilities and theories really helps us understand the true nature of this incredible technology. For Bitcoin to get to where it has reached today, it has taken a very specific set of circumstances to unfold and execute perfectly. Surely this isn't all just a coincidence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.